Because I do it with doing. And it's DOG. And it conflicts with dog. But we don't hear dog. If I hear dog once a year, that's a lot. Or about it as much. Maybe 2 times a year. So I already know that I'm going to do dog with the asterisk. I already know. It's programmed in my mind already. So I already know that it's not going to be DOG. And if you have enough discipline to do that, then you can do it. But if you don't, then it's going to conflict with something else, and you're going to, you're going to mess yourself up. And it's something that you can probably work through. Was the boy dog at the time that what was the boy dog at the time that he had the wreck? That didn't make any sense. But doing does. Oh, what was the boy doing? So you're going to be able to work through it if you're having to work on a job or whatever, and it's like, it's not dog, it's doing. Okay, well then you can create a conflict for it to be a conflict. But it's something that you're going to use a lot. The able as a suffix, trust me, you're going to use it a lot. So using it as believe.
So that's my point. That's why I try to stay away from all of that, because I already messed up with my belief, and I still can't get out of that habit. So I don't like to look at all that stuff. I'll mess up again.
Look at all the what stuff.
Like changing things, and I just don't like changing things.
Creature of habit or what? You know what? I mean, if you can read it, more power to you. Only thing that I'm telling you is that you're going to work harder. You're going to work harder doing some of this stuff. But if that's what you want to do, I mean, I'm here to give you suggestions. That's what this class is to give you suggestions on things to make it easier. Okay? And how this software is going to make it easier. Okay? But if you use it enough and you define that as believe, but you use it as able to, then your AutoMagic may be able to pick it up and should probably pick it up. So it may give you both options. You see what I'm saying too? So it may make it a little bit easier. But it's still going to be stuff that you're going to have to work through. Is that the only one that you do?
That I can think of right now. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, if you can, I mean, for what it's worth, if you can change it now, change it. But if it works for you, then it works for you. Okay? And what they're telling you right now is a lot of times Eclipse is so good at what it does that it already knows. So for example, if you're defining steno ER and it comes after the word create, define it as ER rather than OR. And it's going to know to change it already. That's how good this software is. It thinks ahead of you. So if you define it correctly, which is this, then it's going to know. I do it a little bit differently. Like I would do it creator. I would do it tor. But if you hear it as creator, then define it as that. Okay?
Or we do it both ways, just depending on how the person pronounces it.
Yeah, and you may. You may. But you'll find that your mind thinks so fast when you're writing that you think of this already. Even if the lady said, or the guy said, you know what, he's my creator. Well, I already know. I already know it's creator. So it doesn't really matter how he says it or how they say it. I already know how to stroke it. So it doesn't really matter. And you get to that point where you can do that. Does that make sense?
I do
Yeah, and that's fine. And that's fine. Then you're probably gonna have it both ways. You're probably gonna have it defined both ways, just like Hair was talking about. So, all right. Once again, braces are very helpful for unscrambling, stacking problems like that, okay? So, you know, if you stack, like we talked about, you know, the G, and you do it a lot, you might want to consider it, okay? And it's with the stroke that you use quite a bit, I would do it, okay? And this is probably going to be one of them.
I have the problem of TOF, to have, but I'm always writing of the, and so it always comes out to have. So I have to be careful and read, like proofread my stuff really, because to have
Yeah.
is a legit phrase. But I have to remember that it's of the.
See, and I don't use to have. I don't use it, but I guarantee I'd stack of the, and I can stroke it so fast that it always stacks. But it already knows to do it of the. So if I do TOF, and I'm not even trying to do TOF by trying to save myself a stroke. That's the dumbest thing.
No,
And I
I'm
should just
saying-
do TOF and do of the TOF, and I don't.
Is
So
your
that's what I do.
the
I
on
do
the
all,
initial
I always
side?
do of the.
Yeah,
See, mine's flipped, so my of the is just.
so
F.
it's OFT.
No, no, that's off the. The of the.
OFT is
just-
off the?
Mine is just of the is FT.
Well,
Off
and there's a
the
way to
is
fix
OF.
that if you wanted to, because off in STEM Ed is AUF. So you can do AUFT with off the,
I have it both ways, just
Yeah.
because I learned two theories, so sometimes it just whatever.
yeah. So, I mean, just food for thought, whatever. And here there's a little exercise or whatever that you can do. And how would you do that? How would you define this?
Judging from what I have seen today.
Yeah,
How would you define it? You put the.
let's see.
Bracket,
What is it?
you
Trying to
put
say
the
judge-
brackets with the caret and then the G, and then have F
Brackets with the caret.
Judge.
and then the G, because it's gonna
From?
get tacked on to the word previous, right?
Mhm. It's ing.
Oh, yeah, ing.
ing.
ing in the
And
brackets.
then
And then outside the brackets, you're gonna have the word from.
with a space or without a space?
Without.
Without. So let's see.
Is it supposed to be judging from? They just stacked it together?
Is that what you were talking about? Are you lying?
No, I just said it. That's what I
Hey,
said.
quit yelling. Quit yelling. That would have been correct. Number one. Do you see that? Slick?
Try, it's just really small.
Huh?
It's just really small, so bracket,
So bracket,
carrot.
caret, ing,
Finish your bracket.
close bracket,
No space.
no space, from. You should be in this tutorial right now, are you? Get in that tutorial. Everyone should be in there.
Oh, okay.
Which one is it?
I already fixed it.
Prefixes and
from-
suffixes.
I already fixed it from the last time I took this class, all right.
Do what?
I said mine, the whole document is fixed because I did this from the last time I took the advanced
okay.
class, we went through and did this exercise.
And you can go through and mess with this stuff, and then if you want to, reload it again. Okay?
So by adding, if I hit okay, that's not gonna ruin my dictionary, it's just not here? Or we're not supposed to hit okay?
I wouldn't press OK.
It does it in the tutorial.
Oh, it doesn't in the.
But if you want to do it, that's how you do it. Okay? So if you have this stroke come up, and it's Judge Frog, FRG, what I have seen, then you know. It's judging from what I have seen. So it's in one stroke, and that's how you want to define it as number one. You have to define it correctly, because if you don't, and you do the bracket, you do the caret, the
Say it again.
if you do the, I'm trying to think of how the wrong way is.
Use a space.
If you do the caret, bracket, ing, bracket, from, all it's gonna do is tack on ing to whatever.
So you're gonna have an E and then an ing.
Yeah. So it's always gonna do that. Okay? So be careful the way that you define it. So look,
Is there a space after before from?
no space.
Never a space.
Never a space.
Your computer will blow up.
It already knows, and that's what this little bracket here is. It's already telling it a space. That's what that bracket means, a closed bracket.
So you end up with a double, I've done it before, and you end up with a double space. You
Yeah.
end up having to
So
delete
you
everything.
want to be careful the way that you define it, because if you don't define it exactly like this, it's not going to come out right. Okay?
What's after from?
The computer will blow
That
up.
little, looks like it.
If, yeah.
Why do they have it?
It's just one of
I
those.
don't know, it's just a
alternative-
suggestion.
Oh.
If you did it that way and that's what you want it to mean, from if, judging from if, what I've seen, whatever. But, it's just a suggestion on something else, okay? All right?
Pre-tending,
So how would you do that?
And what?
bracket, pre with the caret, and then the bracket.
Is that right, Slick?
Oh, I never thought about that. I would have just highlighted the whole thing and made it be pretending all the time.
That's what I just explained about defining it differently. Because this way, you don't have to do it every time. Because then you're gonna have prefix, presumption, preload, pre-trial. So every time you're gonna have to go through and mark the whole word. Well, now it knows that pre is a prefix. And if you define it correctly, then it's gonna know to add it on, and you don't have to do it every time.
So
Because some people will say, well, tending to agree with her, I do agree. Tending. Tending is a word. Okay? So it can stand alone. So you need to define it separately. I tend to do this when this happens. So now you need to define just tend, not tending. The G should stand alone. So unless they put it together, which they didn't, then it should be pre, bracket, PRE, caret, bracket. Tend as a totally separate word, no brackets, just TEND. G, bracket, caret, ING, bracket. So you should have 3 separate entries right there in your dictionary. It shouldn't be pretending. You understand what I'm saying? Tell me if you don't, please. Tell me if you don't.
Well, I tried to define it, and I would have put
Bless you.
bracket, caret, pre, bracket. That's wrong.
I don't- You would have done what?
Bracket, caret, pre.
No, because
Or
now it
whatever
makes it a
suffix.
suffix.
Because the caret acts as a delete space, it's gonna attach it.
Yeah, it's gonna
either way.
attach wherever you have that caret.
So this, putting the caret first means you're making it a suffix.
Yeah, so get out of that. Now, KG again. And then give it to you as an example. So you're gonna do, how are you gonna do it? Because you want it as a prefix.
What? That's not right, that's not
Bracket?
right.
Bracket.
Where?
The question right above where he's talking about, it says,
Bracket.
you see where it says preponderance?
Do I need to?
I don't have to
So,
remind you that the
Ponderance
preponderance
of the evidence.
Okay, and the whole
You put too
exercise
much in
is to
there because you have to
do
add
the
on
pre
the
as the
last one.
suffix,
So that's too much. Get out.
as the ending, you know, you do the,
Yeah.
as the brace, caret, ER, close the brace. What do you do with the yance? Because I would do
Yance?
preponderance, or pre.
And then that's
you know what I'm saying? Like, I
the
would
Yeah, it's just the way they write
That's
yans or
correct.
rants, it just, that would also be another
Always, always.
Because you're
But
adding
look
it.
at that
always
and make sure
put
that
ends
that's what you
as the
want to do.
suffix.
Because once it's in your main,
Preponderance, is it ENS?
So from now on, when I stroke pre, it's gonna attach itself.
My gosh, Diana.
or
That's how I do
another
it.
word.
if that's the way you do.
You know what I'm saying, like ends
That's
or
not the way I
ends,
do it. I do it
A-N-C
PRD.
or E-N-C.
But,
Is there-
if that's the way you stroke pre,
Like that's the ending of the word.
then yes.
And I know we're not using these all over, but if I were to highlight, normally this is what I would do, I would highlight
There's
all
no-
of this.
Let me Google it.
So it knows when I stroke pre, 10, then it'll make it pretend. Now, what are you saying was wrong with
You
that?
don't want to do that.
These are the ants.
Because
Ends, right, so it'd be
people say
ants.
10.
But would that always be
10
a
is a word.
prefix?
That would be
People
a
tend
suffix.
to do that when
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. So we can.
Well, I use my
So
y
now,
with the
next time you
sometimes
write
city
10,
endings,
now
but that's
you
just
have
my
to define
theory.
it.
Yeah, well, that's
So
like
what
what
you
you
want to
do
do when
ends
you're,
or ends.
when you're defining new
Or
words, is see if you can break it
It
down
just depends.
into another
Like
word.
how-
I haven't, that's why I have my prefixes multiple ways, just depending on like how, because I'll write it how I
I
hear
would
it.
define
On,
pre,
on
10.
Brent's
That would make,
on
so if I just wrote
France.
10, it's gonna make
I have
10.
it both
I
ways.
wouldn't have short this, so I
And
wouldn't
then you
have
just go
added
back to
pre 10.
Or it should come.
It should just,
If I
most of the time it
were to
just
write 10, I wouldn't have this pre.
attaches.
How would you write it?
But I have a brief for preponderance, so
She was
Is it
10.
PP, right?
PP,
And then performance is PP.
PPD.
What if they said she was pretending to be something? How would you stroke it out?
Nails.
You already,
And then
So it doesn't even give you the
And it would
option.
know,
Just
since I
like
stroked
that.
off 3 to make it together. But if I didn't stroke 3, I just had 2, 10, and an E.
We're gonna pick 4 and then change it instead of
That's okay
and
too,
to
right?
A and C.
but you don't want to define them as one word, is what I'm saying. You want to define them as separate words. Because G can stand
Come on, I'll
alone,
wait to see what this is.
10 can stand
It's
alone.
supposed to rain Thursday, Friday, so
Three
have your umbrella ready.
always attaches to something. So
Say
you want to
90%
define them
chance on
separate.
Friday,
You don't want to
so-
define them together because then you're going to do pre every
On
time.
Friday or Thursday?
See what
Friday
I'm
is
saying?
90%, Thursday it's
Does that
like
make sense?
50. But as we get
It's like
closer,
when you do
the percentage
pre-
chance,
then
percentage of rain might change.
Pre,
That's what my phone told me this morning.
whatever. Then you're going to have to define it with the word every time.
Oh, I guess.
And I was like, oh my God, I don't have to do math on Fridays.
Yeah, I need to do this. Whenever I write those words, it already says, maybe I already know
You
this.
probably do.
You carry around
You
the
probably
extra
do,
pair
but
of
just yours.
shoes.
Okay.
And in your bags, so when you get to wherever you're going, you take them off and you can.
So of the time, I just make an outfit for rain boots.
That's what I'm saying, like, I'm
Those are-
So skinny jeans on,
See,
t-shirt,
how I put it
just
together.
and rain boots.
Now, how would you do that?
If I was going to court or something, I'd probably do something in my bag.
otherwise you wear it.
Used to wear them in Ohio, I just wear my rain boots with skinny jeans and a t-shirt.
Say,
and an umbrella.
pretending
That's how I wear it all
imposter
day.
that will not make their duties any easier.
I get that from my family because my family's all highly
But if you would have
educated.
noticed,
And my
So when they give me those, I can hit a number and it's
That's what you did a long time ago. But you should know how to do it.
That's how you
Is what I'm
should
saying.
have been better.
I had them do
Okay, guys, we're back.
They would do the 225 and make them do them mark.
And what I was doing was just showing the student, what she wanted to do was this. And define pretend. And what I was telling the student was, why do that? Because now you're going to do it with every word, whether it be prevent or prescribe or pre-cure, whatever. It's not pre-cure, it's procure. So whatever. I'm trying to give you examples. So now you have to do it every time. Well, you don't need to do it every time because tend can stand alone. So instead of doing that, all you do now is do each one individually. And it knows to put it together. It'll know to put it together because you've defined it to put it together.
With the whole prefix thing, right?
With the prefix and the suffix thing. Okay? So it's going to know to put it together. So, if you've already done it, which it looks like you have, you've already defined tend, and you've already defined ing as a suffix because tend stood alone. Ing knew to hook onto tend, so you've already defined it. Okay? So now what you do is mark it, and which one of these is it going to be?
One.
Number 1. So you put number 1, you want it in your main, enter, automatically puts it together. Okay? And the other example that I was talking with the student about is what would you do right here? Well, it needs to be posturing. That will not make their duties any easy, blah, blah, blah. So how would you do it?
Supposed to be posturing that.
Yeah.
Maybe
Hang
that.
on, Ace. I already know it, you know it. The teacher's pet.
The brackets with the caret, the ing, close brackets, and then that with no space.
That with no space. Which is